In ELA today, we're going to find our task on activities, assigned to class folder, red ELA, and it is called Job of a Meteorologist. Go ahead and open up your task, please. Make sure that you are focused on learning today. Job of a meteorologist.
I'm hungry.
All right, today we are going to start by talking about our success criteria. Today you're going to practice answering questions to show that you understand a text. Just like yesterday, you went back into the text and you highlighted the answer. You highlighted evidence in the text. Then you answered the question. We're going to do that same thing today. Today we have some questions to focus on. Here are our questions. How is weather connected to climate? How is weather connected to climate? Here's question number 2 I want you thinking about today as we read and learn. How do meteorologists predict weather for specific climate regions? Remember, a meteorologist is a person who studies the weather. So how do meteorologists predict the weather for specific climate regions? Today we're going to start with a video. It says, watch this video to learn about a meteorologist's job and tools. Here we go.
Well, hi, kids. How are you? I'm meteorologist J.D. Rudd. Welcome into the Weather Center. This is where I work in Kansas City at 41 Action News. I got a couple different things to talk to you about today, mainly about what I do and, of course, about the weather. So are you ready to learn a couple of things? You weren't loud enough. Are you ready to learn a couple of things? Okay, that's more like it. So there's my big giant head. Hi, see there's 2 of me now. Let's talk about the weather for a second. The weather can be several different things, kind of like this doggy, right? The weather can be wet. What a cute little pup. What else can the weather be? It can be snowy, and hopefully you're happy when there's snow out there. Have you ever seen 2 feet of snow before? Do you want me to show you 2 feet of snow? Look, there's 2 feet of snow. See, you don't see that around here very much, do you? No, not at all. What else can the weather be? It can be sunny and nice. That's a pretty bright and happy sun. He's bright because he's got sunglasses on and regular glasses. He's smart. He's a smart son. You know what else the weather can be? It can be mean. Yeah, like during tornado season, right? Any of you see any big scary storms? Yeah, they're kind of scary and mean. We don't like scary storms, so hopefully we can keep those away for a while. So let me ask you a question. Do you know what weather is? Weather is what's happening right now. You can look out the window, go outside. You know what's happening? That's the weather. If it's sunny, if it's warm, if it's cold, if it's raining, if it's storming, that's all the weather. And the really neat thing about the weather, we can't control it. It controls us. If you wore shorts today, if you wore a coat today, that's because the weather made you do it. You didn't choose it. You had to because of the weather. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple of things that I do. My job, what is it that I do as a meteorologist on TV? Well, magic. There's a little bit of magic in what I do. It takes a lot of work. I spend a few hours each day working and looking over all kinds of papers and forecast stuff. Do you want to see some of what I do? Okay, here's an example of what I do. Do you like cake? I love cake. Think of cake. Look at all the layers in that cake, right? That's kind of how the atmosphere works, the earth, the air around us, and that's what I study, is all the layers that we have in the atmosphere, and that's how we predict the weather. How do we do that exactly? Well, let me show you. You like balloons? We take these big, giant balloons and we send them way up in the sky. And when we do that, we measure the temperature and the air pressure and other things in the atmosphere. That way we can know what the weather's going to do. And we have all kinds of balloons all over the country to help measure the weather high up above us, way up in the sky. Well, what do we do with all that information? Well, it comes back into a computer, and Then I do things like this. I look at these charts with all these colors and these lines on there. It's really geeky. It's kind of nerdy. Look, charts like this that tell me where it might rain, charts where it shows me there's a warm front, even big, scary charts like this. Lots of drawing. I do lots of drawing and coloring in my job sometimes. I try to stay within the lines, but not always. What else do? I look at a lot of numbers, a lot of math and science. Any of you like math or science? If you do, maybe you could be a meteorologist someday. There's a lot of numbers that I have to work with. Also, we use things like radar and satellite. You've seen me talk about this on TV before, right? When the clouds are in, that's on the satellite. The radar shows the rain, shows us when it might storm and things like that too. That's one of the ways that we do this is with radar and satellite, one of the many tools that we have. So what happens after I look at all these things, all those layers in my cake? What do? Well, I put it all together, and then I sweat, and I work at the computer, and I type in everything that I can to get ready for the news. Have any of you seen me on the news before? Does your mom or dad watch the news? Can I tell you something? There's magic in this room. Do you want to see some of the magic? This is the boring stuff. Let's go take a look at some of the magic. Let me show you some magic that I have. Look at this over here. This is my magic wall. This big green wall is where I stand. You don't usually see this on TV. We can't show it to you, but let me show you some magic of what happens when I step in front of this wall. Does this kind of look familiar now? Hang on, let me go back. Let me go back real quick. See, there's no map behind me. It's a magic green wall, but do you know what I can do in front of this wall? I can write things on this wall, like I can say, "Hi, kids." I could put some funny pictures up on the wall, like this guy that's huffing and puffing. He's just really windy, kind of like me. Ask your mom or your dad. So that's my magic green wall. Do you want to see the magic green wall one more time? Let's go look at the magic green wall one more time. There it is. See, there's my magic green wall. Most of where I work is inside this magic green wall. So yeah, you'll see me over here sometimes, but a lot of my time is at the magic green wall. It's so much fun. And that's one of the ways that we use to tell you about the weather. We look at all the information and we write it all down and we put it in our computer and then we forecast it on TV for just a couple of minutes. Hopefully, maybe you learned a little something and maybe one of these days you can come check out my magic green wall. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'm very happy to be in your classroom and I hope you have a really, really nice afternoon. Take care.
Morning.
It is morning.
Okay.
All right, so we just heard from a real meteorologist. Meteorologists are people who study the weather, and we see them on the news because they like to tell people the weather forecast. But not all meteorologists work for the news. Sometimes they work for other companies and they study the weather. They predict weather patterns in our climate. They study different types of weather. So today we're going to read a little bit more about what do meteorologists do. In our task, let me close this out here. Here we go. In our task today, on each slide, you have a text all about meteorologists and what they do, okay? Today, there are questions on each slide. You're going to highlight the answer in the text. You're going to highlight your evidence.
Oh, it's like we did yesterday.
And then you're going to type your complete answer here. Okay, here's what we're going to do today. There are 5 questions. There's 5 slides with questions. Today, I want you to pick 3. Pick 3 that you want to answer. I don't care which 3. You can do all 5 if you would like to, but today I would like for you to choose 3 slides to complete. I will be looking for highlighted evidence on your text, and I will be looking for a complete sentence answer. Yesterday, some people were writing like 1 word. That's first grade. First graders know how to write 1 word. Third graders are expected to take their answer and write a sentence. Okay? So you need to pick 3 today. That is your task. When you get done, you can have some extra independent time today. I put on Epic. I put lots of books about Valentine's Day on Epic. Friends on Zoom, you can go check that out in your independent time. Or if you would like to read on Mayan, or if you have some Lexia units that you need to catch up on, today would be a great time to get up to your 15 units. Okay, so your task today is to choose 3 to highlight, answer in a complete sentence, and then you will turn it in. Don't forget to show me on slide number 6, how did you do with today's skill? How did you feel with answering questions to show that you understand a text? Okay, let's go ahead and get started on our work time. Let's go ahead and get a few minutes in, and then we'll pause and do break time. So you have about 4 minutes to start reading independently to yourself and start looking at which 3 slides do you want to do. Okay?
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get started right now, reading quietly to yourself and thinking about which slides do you want to do today. Okay, we're going to wrap up our Zoom lesson. Make sure that you are choosing 3 questions to answer. Highlight your evidence in the text, and then type a complete sentence underneath the question. When you're done with that, you can push the green check and turn in your work.